What's up, dude?
What's up, man?
I can hear you now. And just to make 100% sure I don't screw you out of a VOD here, can you say something really fast so I can see if your volume goes up on stream?
Hello, hello,
Okay,
hello.
okay, perfect. Yeah, you're good. You're good to go. All
All
right,
right.
sick man. How you doing?
Doing good, and you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm ready to help you out with some StarCraft, some coaching. Uh,
Sweet.
let me know, I guess, like what's been going on in your games, or like a general idea, like League and what you're kind of like trying to accomplish or whatever, and we'll go from there.
Uh, well, I was plat last season, but I don't know if this is a bug or not, but my MMR is 2600 right now. I just got placed, and it says bronze, so
No,
I don't
you're
know.
bronze. No, you're not.
Okay.
It's some type of ladder bug. It's happened before. It's weird. But your MMR is still what it is though. So I wouldn't worry too much about what the
Yep.
league says. Your MMR is actually what you are.
Yeah. If my highest MMR is like 28, 29, so but I always come crashing down after like
High vibe
29.
T.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's all good. So I think about 3K is like uh I don't know, probably like plat. I mean that's what you said, right? You're supposed to be plat.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, I was plat.
Okay. Yeah. I mean that's yeah. It's around what it is. So I mean, I'm sure you know from what I've talked to with a lot of people that I'm gonna probably talk to you a lot about your macro.
Okay.
But well, I mean, we can definitely fine tune something to you specifically though, and just know
Yeah.
if you really, really want to focus on micro in some way, I'll totally help you with that too. Like it doesn't, like you are
Honest,
overall in charge of what we do here.
if micro helps, great, but honestly, I'd rather my macro just be so overwhelming that micro doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I mean, so there's like, that's probably the best way to explain uh, what it's like to improve quickly at StarCraft, and there's always so many things you can be doing all the time. Like you'll never feel like you have enough time to do everything, no matter how good you are at the game, because there's always something
Mm.
more you can do. And the only way, in my opinion, that you're really going to be able to get better faster, like like the fastest way to improvement, is if your macro is so fast, and like if you know how to execute it so fast, and you know what priorities are through, like no matter what's going on in the game. Like it doesn't matter if you're not being distracted or if you are being distracted. If you know how to stay on top of priorities and what they
Mm.
are, that's probably your biggest ticket to like improvement faster.
I think that's probably my biggest weaknesses is priorities and keeping that in order.
Yeah, I mean that's most people, honestly. That's everybody has to learn what that is until they actually start like doing well and like getting into Diamond League and then doing well in Diamond League and going above that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
okay. So I guess going forward, do you have any replays prepared, or did you kind of just want to set stuff up
Uh,
as we go?
I mean, I don't have any repairs
Okay,
prepared or anything,
it's all good.
but yeah.
All right, so I'll give you a couple options here. Would you rather do some? We could do like some theory crafting where I kind of walk you through some stuff and I give you some ideas on playstyles that you would like to try to go for, or we could I could have you like actually play a game live if you wanted to do it instead, and I could have you like play a stream viewer and I could just kind of like watch from the back seat and kind of give you ideas on what to do or something like that.
Hmm. I guess live option sounds good.
Okay. So guys, if there's anyone in chat, or do you have a matchup specifically that you want to kind of focus on?
Um, not really. No. Any matchup is fine
Okay.
to learn.
All right. So if there's anyone that's like in platinum, guys, like I would say, ideally plat. If you're around plat and we can't find anyone else that is in plat, that's also okay. But ideally, a plat player would be perfect. It doesn't matter what race you are. Just let me know on Twitch chat, and then we'll get a game set up with you. And are you on StarCraft right now, Neil Satori?
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay. All right, sick. I actually found you a plat player. Dr. Mabowel. Dermabol. Log in, dude. On the NA server, and let's set it up. Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and make a game really fast, and then I'll just I'll kind of walk you through what. So I think this is probably the best. This is, in my opinion, probably the best way you can get like just overall well-rounded information. I think I'll have you do it the first time. About like I'll try to walk you through it. I guarantee there's gonna be messy parts about it because it's probably how it's gonna go. But then I think what I want to do after that is I want to give you an example of me doing it, but I'll do it in a way that I think is very approachable for you to follow. And then after that, so we'll do like 2 games where you go, then I go, and then we'll talk about it and we'll like go through it and we'll break it down. And I think that probably will give you the most, you know, learning from that. Alright, so I have made a game. Am I in any channels right now? I guess the easiest way we can do it is just join. Both of you just join channel Vibu, V-I-B-U. Probably be the easiest way to do it, so I can just grab you and join or bring you into the game. Okay, I see you. And then Dermabol. Let me know what your name is as well when you log in. What's this? This is coaching. And then, do you have any questions about anything that ever, like, for you, Neosatori? Do you have any questions about, like, anything that you've always kind of wondered about, or things that didn't make sense?
Honestly, I just know my macro is still bad. I'm fast, but like that speed means nothing because my it doesn't show on macro. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm not really worried about matchups until I get diamond and get like a concrete foundation. It's kind of like very inconsistent.
Yeah, I like honestly, I'm not gonna lie. When you're working on like really just getting through the macro threshold of having to, you know, solidify it enough to the point to where it's gonna like actually take you to like the next level of gameplay. The biggest thing you can do about your micro is not like how do I spread and like dodge and, you know, kite, stutter step, all this stuff like this. It's not. It has nothing to do with anything like that. It's all like, okay, when should I just A move prioritize? Like, oh, he's harassing my main base. What should I do right now? And it's like just take literally 1 second to go select an army, A move the area over there, and go back to macroing. And it's like just like knowing what you should, like what the task at hand should be. And also something that screws a lot of people over is not knowing how to read patterns. And we'll talk about that too. I hope, like, we'll see what this guy does, but your opponent. But if he does do a pattern, and even if he doesn't, we'll come back to this a little bit later. But patterns are things like you recognize how your opponent likes to attack you, and you think about how to minimally micro counter that. Like, for instance, if someone attacks you with a bunch of speedlings, and they go left in your natural, right in your third base, left in your natural, right in your third base. The simple process of going, how about I just spread my army in 50-50, and you just leave half at your third and leave half at your natural. So he keeps running units into death. Stuff like that, where it's like you don't really micro, but they over micro, and they waste a bunch of time while you defend, doing nothing. Okay. Essentially. That's important to see stuff like that. All right. Is there anybody? I don't know. Dermable. I don't know if he's still coming, guys. But if there's anybody in Platinum League that wants to join in on the coaching lesson, I would. We'd love to have you. We're looking for a Platinum opponent for Neosatori here, the Zerg player. All right, aren't you Platinum 1? Not anymore. Sorry. Just go US. We're on the US server. Join the channel Vibu. Like just like this right here. Type, all right, okay, it doesn't work on Twitch. It's, look at the stream. Type that right there. /join space Vibu. I'll see you in the channel right here as soon as you join it, and I will invite you as soon as you're there. You're Star-Lord. I'll invite you when I see you. He's playing on the EU servers. Come to the US server. This is not the, come to the US server if you want to play, guys. This is the coaching lesson for Mr. Neosatori over here. Show him have his server switch. Okay, so when you want to server switch, you just see my mouse. My camera's kind of in the way, but in bottom right, the menu option, you click it. Okay, this brings up the menu. You hit the globe and you hit Americas. And it'll say current region is on Europe if that's what you're on right now. But anybody can join in if you are. I'm just looking for anybody, guys, because yeah, doesn't have to be one person specifically. I will literally take the first person who joins the channel that is platinum that wants to play. Obviously, we're looking for a good game though, so it's not like Masters or something where it's going to be some skill discrepancy here. Alright, if he doesn't join soon, and we don't get anybody soon, I could just run you against an AI and kind of just walk you through your macro cycles. I guess, just to get a game going.
I mean, I can't even play against that gold guy because I haven't played in like 6 months, really.
Sure. I mean, okay, sure. Okay, if you guys, if someone is gold as well. Everyone's being shy and bashful right now. I don't speak English, I speak American. Nice, dude. Oh yeah, brother. Actually, I probably, you know what? If I'll tell you what, I mean, if this sounds good to you, we could do this. Because I don't want to waste your time. If nobody joins in the next like 3 minutes, how about I just play you myself, and I will definitely throttle, and then we can just go back and watch the replay and talk about it.
Alright, sounds good.
And break it down, because that way we're not just sitting here waiting for somebody. What league are you coaching? Plat. If you're like around Plat though, definitely come on in. Maybe like towards the like Plat to Gold range. He's Zerg. It doesn't matter what race you are, any race. We're mainly focusing on macro fundamentals here. J Hero is your diamond, right? That's a bit high. All right, J Hero, I'll use you if I don't get somebody else in the next like minute. But diamond is a little, maybe a bit rough at the moment, especially if Neosadori hasn't played in 6 months. Give me a sec. Yeah, we're just in channel Vibu, VIBU, on North America server. If you guys want to participate, I'm coming. Get in here. I can go if you need me. Thanks, Jay Hero. I'll use you if nobody joins in like a minute. There's actually a lot of people that are saying they will join on Twitch, but nobody's actually joining on Battle.net. They're like, I want in. Well, fucking get in here then. All right, what is Lamora? This dude is unranked. I have no idea. Lamora, I don't know what you are. Let me know though, because your account is like fresh, so you're a mystery. I'm on EU again. All right. Well, okay. Well, we're not going to Europe. Sorry. Like, it's just, okay, guys. Oh my god. All right. J Hero, you've been promoted, dude. You're in, man. Okay. J Hero, play whatever race you want. And I would say, J Hero, just do anything you want in the game, okay? I would ask you, I mean, I actually, it doesn't matter. Just do your style, do your thing. Because it's all good. I'm just gonna hit Neosatori. I got you, bro. We're gonna help you overcome this obstacle here. But just, I guess, let me know when you guys are both ready and we can jump into it, and then I'll kind of give you some ideas here, Neosatori.
Alright, I'm ready.
Alright, and once J Hero's ready, we'll start it up. Alright. And then, Neosatori, I have one question for you really fast, and it is, what kind of a playstyle do you want to kind of aim for? Like, unit comp? Do you like to go like Ling Bane Hydra
Honest,
or?
honestly, whatever's the most efficient and easiest
Okay,
for
okay.
whatever scenario base.
We'll have you. So I'll have you go Roach. Are you familiar at all with BDGM stuff? Did you actually watch any of the BDGM stuff?
Not the recent stuff, no.
Okay. So what I'm gonna basically run you through then, it's
Hmm.
super macro focused, but like Roach Hydra. Sound good?
Okay, sound good.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna start it up. You guys seem like you're both ready. Skippy Joe, stick around. I might have you play a game right after this one. All right. Good luck, Mr. Neosatori. I'm gonna be the voice in your ear, okay? Or actually, last question. Do you want me to kind of run you through it constantly, or do you want me to just give you like casual tips and let you kind of do your own thing for a little bit? Some people don't really like a lot of talking.
Yeah, just let me just say how I do first.
Okay, sure. All right, so do your thing. I'm actually going to talk to the stream while you play, so you'll have this for the VOD, but you won't hear me during your game, okay?
Yep, that sounds good.
All right. Okay. All right, guys. Well, now let's talk shit about him. All right, so yeah, let's see what he's doing, how he's doing. Dun, 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 dun. All right, I'm gonna watch his perspective. That's way off. Okay, yeah, so he's gonna need some efficiencies here, like I mean, we're gonna talk about it, right? But like, I mean, I guess if he's watching the VOD too later on, like, I basically, if you ever larva cap like that, or where you have like you're saving money to build something and your larva just chilling on 3, it's definitely brutal. Every time your larva hits 3, it's very, very, very rough, and definitely taking a 14 hatch after Overlord is gonna do that to you. So the generic opener of, and the gas is way too fast. The generic opener you'd want to be going for, Neosatori, is like a 16 hatch, an 18 pool, and a 20 gas. And this instead was like a 14, a 16, 16, or like 16, 17. This is all way too early. Because now you're not going to have enough money to spend properly on all your stuff. And your larva, it keeps capping off. And then also, in the future... Yeah, okay. So we're definitely going to talk a lot about this. Simply put, everything is way too fast. You don't have enough focus on your larva, and everything is way too fast. Your gas is way too fast, your roach is way too fast. This build literally looks like an all-in. The third base makes it not an all-in. It looks macro-focused. But the timing of the roach warren and like the lack of larva usage and the speed of gas seems very all-in-ish. It's way too aggressively fast. And there's no queens being made. At all. Definitely, I'm gonna give him an example after this. I'm gonna write down some numbers here, okay? While we go through this. I'm gonna have it off screen, but I'm gonna just write down how much supply he's at and workers he's at certain minutes of the game. 3 minutes will be our first checkpoint. At 3 minutes, he's at 17 drones and 28 supply. Whoops, I just did something. 3 minutes. 17 drones, 28. Why can't I type right now? 28 supply. Okay. All right, and then he's doing a bit of like a lot of lings here, and an attack. Yeah, the game is definitely chaos right now. It's way too aggressive. I feel like this is whenever people play aggressive like this, a lot of times too, it's because they're unsure of what their opponent's doing and they don't want to die. But that's where the wall comes in, where it makes you not die. And now there's an evacuation to the main. I feel like it's exactly not wanting to die. So there's definitely going to be some stuff we're going to talk about here, for sure. Yeah, it's kind of going into like a panic all in, like yeah. It's just all over the place. That we're gonna. The biggest thing that's gonna change everything here is checkpoints of time. That's what's gonna be very eye-opening throughout this game. And the next checkpoint we're gonna use is gonna be 5 minutes. This is a little bit of that notepad trick coming out here right now, guys. So like right now, if you notice, production, there's a bunch of larvae, and nothing was being made for a while, and then suddenly mastlings are getting made. This is I mean it's an aggressive playstyle, but there is also another way we could play this aggressive playstyle too. Okay, looks like we're all gonna die. Yeah, now there's almost no drones at this point. So the game, basically the game now is going on the point of, if this attack fails, the game's over, because there's no recovery here for Neostory, and it's probably going to fail. Only because like this was played like a all-in that wasn't fully committed to an all-in, because there was like drones being made between it. There was a third base that was made with it, but there was like tons of larvae sitting there. There was no queen injects at all game. So definitely a little bit rough. I'm gonna go back to it, rewind it one more time really fast. Okay. All right. So we're gonna talk a little bit about checkpoints and stuff like that. Basically, the biggest way I can kind of like sum up the game for you is I feel like you played that game in a way where it was like, it was an all-in essentially. Everything was like the gas and the production of units and all that kind of stuff was all way too fast, and the amount of the military units you made was way too much at the start, like throughout the whole game essentially. And then the biggest thing of all is one of the biggest things you need for a macro mechanic of Zerg is queens, and there was a complete disregard for queens the whole game.
Yeah.
So basically, if you feel more comfortable doing, like, this is 100% up to you, okay? But if you feel more comfortable doing an all-in playstyle, I can show you how to do that in a way more efficient way. Like, it's literally roachling, but it's way more efficient than what this just was.
Okay.
Or if you want, I can give you a macro focus of what we like, what you should be focusing on, and I'll walk you through it step by step as I would show you, and then I would have you like try to recreate that. But
yeah, I'd rather macro focus, honestly.
Okay, I can show you it all in. That would just make your life a little bit easier of like, how to do things. But I wrote down 2 checkpoints in this game for you. Okay. One of them was 3 minutes, and one of them was 4.5 minutes, because that was right before you got attacked. And this is like before you actually took any damage, okay? But at 4.5 minutes, or sorry, at 3 minutes, you were at 17 drones and 28 supply. And at 4.5 minutes, you were at 26 drones and 43 supply, okay? So we're gonna remember, like, you don't have to memorize that. I wrote it down. And I'm gonna go back into a game now, and I'm gonna show you, we're gonna reflect on that in a minute, okay? Because it's gonna be a big contrast. There's gonna be it's just the efficiency of what it can do for you. All right. So I'm gonna play again, and I'm gonna invite the same guy for this one, just for this next one if he's still available. And I'm gonna invite you back in the game again yourself. And this time I'm gonna show you a build, and then I want you to recreate it. And I'll have you do it versus Skippy Joe. If you're still listening, I'll have Neo Satori do this versus you afterwards if you're down. All right, J Hero, if you're ready, dude, let me know, and we'll start this bad boy up. And then I'll walk you through the entire thing, and if you have a question at any point in time, well, you're more than welcome to ask. Even if I'm talking and you want to interrupt me, that's totally fine. But yeah, I'll definitely I'll walk you through like what I'm doing and what's important here. Okay, so first things first, priority of resources and priority of efficient macro, okay? So, and this is important. These things are really important. We never want to have 3 larvae on our hatchery ever, unless a larva inject just popped off. That's essentially the goal. There's going to be only one moment where we're going to get a lot of larvae, and it's going to be right when we make our all-in round of units. And that's it. So first things first, we make a drone. We just hotkey our hatchery, hotkey our overlord. If you want to do this, it's totally, you don't have to do that, but I would recommend it be nice. We'll start flying across the map on the mini map. We're just clicking the mini map with the overlord. We make an overlord on the hatchery, and we're trying to make another drone. So we make it right as we have enough minerals for it. Now we're chilling, and you know, we're waiting for that second larva to spawn on the hatchery, and now it's there. And now we can literally just go select larva, hold down the drone button, and the second the overlord's done, they both immediately start. Take our second overlord and move it up to the natural. And now look at the mineral line, and at 180 minerals in the bank, which is what we just got, we're gonna move up to the natural because we'll hit about 300 once we get there. So the key number here is we're expanding at 16 at 180 minerals, and it's like perfect. Okay, and then we make a drone again. We're gonna make a drone again, and we're gonna make a drone again. We're gonna spend all of our larvae, go up to 18 supply, and then we're gonna make a spawning pool with one of these drones. It doesn't matter if it's coming out of the egg or if you pick one off the mineral line, it's fine. The key is we're not actually undersaturating our mineral line. We're making sure our mineral line is always fully saturated. We're gonna drone again now all the way up to 20. So the build overall is 16 hatchery, 18 pool, 20 gas. Okay, and now we can take a drone off and go build that gas. And again, now what's gonna happen is when this gas is done, we're going to be at 19 out of 16, which means when we take 3 drones off, we're not going to actually go under 16. We want to make sure our minerals are cranking like crazy with the income that we have. So now we're going to keep making drones. You know, even though we have a fully saturated mineral line, it's fine. Keep making drones, and now we're going to rally our hatchery down to the natural, okay? And then as second the spawning pool's done, double queen. So I can afford. I'm spending all my larvae on drones right now, and we made double queen, and nothing is waiting to be made. I'm not making the roach warren yet. I'm not doing anything else. I'm just making drones, and that's it. And then I'm watching my supply on top right now. As soon as I get within a threshold of like getting close to supply blocking, I'm gonna make an overlord. So I'm actually gonna make an overlord here in a second on the next one, just so I don't supply block because I'm getting pretty close now. We're within 7 supply of blocking here. And notice how his 2 lings attacking me. I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm not freaking out. I'm not making lings. It does not matter. I could even lose drones and it doesn't matter. You could micro this, but you don't even need to, because if you just make drones, it's way better than making, like, losing 1 drone and having him run away is way better than making a bunch of lings and then having him run away. Because it's like losing drones anyways if you make lings. I could have microed that as well, but that's the point I'm trying to make, is you don't even need to micro that because the queen will deal with it for you. Still making drones. I haven't made a single zergling or a single roach yet. I also haven't made my roach warren yet, and I'm at 35 supply because we can't afford it yet. And now I'm going to keep making now I spent all my resources on injected larvae on drones, and now I'm going to make a roach warren, and now I'm also going to make a evo chamber, and now I'm going to make double gas. So I made 4 buildings as soon as I spent my larva from my first inject popping off my hatchery. So that's humongously important. Again, the thing I'm always coming back to while we're talking here is every single time I have larva, I spend it first. Like, that's always the priority of everything I do. Spin larva, spin larva, spin larva, spin larva. Okay, so let's pull my queen back to my other queen and just fight with my queens together. And now we're gonna make our last bit of drones here. We can inject our hatcheries. Okay, and then now if he's gonna attack me like this, let's just move my drones near the queens. Hold shift and right click back to the mineral line. It's totally fine. And then if he runs away like that, just right click the mineral line, it's fine. Make roaches now. And we're gonna get weapon upgrade and we're gonna get speed upgrade. And we're just making roaches. And we're getting attacked by a lot of shit, right? You're like, oh god. So here's what we can do. Okay, so he's attacking me with a lot of stuff right now. We're basically getting all in. I'm still making roaches, and he's running at my mineral line. It's gonna hurt a little bit. I'm not even gonna move my shit. It's fine. It's not a big deal. We're just going to try to grab my units and attack them as they spawn. I'm outproducing this as shit happens. Okay? This is minimal micro. I'm literally focusing on macro, 100%. Making roaches. I'm just making roaches. I'm just making roaches. Just making roaches. I'm just making roaches. Repeatedly. All day. Making roaches. Just making roaches. I don't give a shit about anything that's happening right now. Making roaches. Making roaches. Making roaches. Like, it doesn't matter. Just making those roaches.
It seems like the more you keep focused on what your game plan is, less, and not like not overreacting, less shit's gonna go bad. Because it looked like it was a dire situation, but kind of.
Oh, it's totally fine. And now look at you look at the supply. I'm not watching it because I can't see his, but I bet we're fine.
Oh wow.
And now I took off my drones off the gas of my natural just to put them on minerals because my gas is getting really high, and roaches are a more expensive mineral unit, so I kind of need the minerals. But now we have roach speed, and we're about to have +1 weapons. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna A-move across the map to his base. I just literally took my army and I'm A-moving towards his main base. That's all I did. I clicked A-move, and I clicked on the area where his main base is. And that's it. That's all I did. And now behind this, again, this is an all-in, so we're just gonna keep making roaches behind this as well. We can have our new roaches, you know, just keep making more, and they'll spawn to help us. I'm looking at my base only right now. I'm not actually looking at his. I'm not looking at my roaches crossing the map. I'm only looking at my base because I'm macroing. And I'm just moving this one roach I have towards the queen to help her. And now it's all the stuff on my base is dead. Select all army. Off the mini map, moving towards his main base. I'm doing nothing else. And I made an overlord now because we're going to supply block again. So now, again, we're grabbing our roaches, moving towards his main base. I'm not microing my army at all. I'm not looking at it. I'm not doing anything besides looking at my resource. I'm literally, my eyeballs are fixated in top right. How much supply am I at? How much gas am I at? How much minerals am I at? And now if you notice, my minerals are getting kind of high and my gas is getting really low. So now I can start making drones to fix it. GG. So I didn't micro a single thing defensively. All I did was I was making roaches. And as roaches spawned, I went select all army, A-move, select all army, A-move, select all army, A-move. Because the reason why that's important is if you... So that I guess that is a little bit of micro there. Because if you don't do that, roaches will run to the rally point, and then they will not attack on their way to do that. So when roaches were spawning, I was just going select all army, A-move towards the area. And then I would make roaches. I would inject my hatcheries. Select all army, A-move towards the situation. As queens were dying, I would make new queens. I was just replacing what died. Except, like, I wasn't making drones while I was getting all in, though. And then because you want to turn this, you kind of want to play this as an all in yourself, I would say don't make roaches until you have control of the, sorry, don't make drones again until you have control of the game. Because you're all in as fuck. So you want your like, when I'm attacking him with his base right now, you want that to be as powerful as possible. But if we go back, if we go back, here, check this out really fast. Just, I'm gonna share my screen with you on Discord, so you don't have to watch it through. Like if you're like on the main menu of StarCraft right now, you're not just gonna have to listen to me. But do you see my screen on Discord right now? If you click into it,
yep.
Okay. So like right here, this is really like numbers again, right? This is what I was talking about earlier. We're gonna come back to this really fast. At 3 minutes in your game, you were at 17 drones and 28 supply overall. I have one more drone right now than you had in total supply. I have 29 drones and 35 supply. And they're only the only reason why this works like that, why I'm in the first 3 minutes with nothing has happened so far. I'm already 7 supply ahead and I'm 12 drones ahead. The only reason why it has worked like that is because I made no lings and you made a lot of lings, and I made queens and you made no queens. Like having larva inject it's 50% of your total production if you actually inject properly. It's insane. It's crazy. So it's very important to do that. And then if we go forward again to 4.5 minutes was the other timer we gave here. And this is while we're getting attacked as well. So he's like attacking my base and stuff. Right about now, we have at 4.5 minutes, you had 26 drones and 43 supply. And in this game, in this example, right before these banelings go off, at 4.5 minutes, we have 43 drones and 61 supply. So my drone count was your total supply, including your army. And then overall, we have 18 supply above what you had at this point in the game, a minute and a half later. And again, the only reason why it works like that is because of queens. And it's because we have enough drones to actually support the cost of production that those queens are providing. Because if you notice, like my money, like if my money is very low, it's very spent, and the reason why it's like that is because we made enough. Like basically, if you have good injects and you're cranking out units, and the fact that we got this like Evo Chamber upgrade and the Roach Warren upgrade, we're spending all the money that we're generating constantly. And it's gonna very slowly, marginally go up faster than we spend it, since we're basically fully saturated on 2 bases. But it's not by much. Like, we're gonna slowly go up if our macro is on point. And then, as you can see right now, right, like this could have been a moment too, where throughout the game, like right now, when he's attacking me with a bunch of lings and he's attacking my queens, I could be making a bunch of lings right now and freaking out, right? But if you think about it, if I make this is a concept a lot of people in lower leagues don't think about, and they always put themselves into a hole when they do this. If I were to go, hey drones, move that, and let's say I made 5 drones, let's say I have 5 larvae, and I take my drones and I move all my drones off, like a lot of my drones off the mineral line right now at the natural. And let's say I lose 5 drones to these lings, but my drones overall kill the lings, and then it's problem solved. If I made 5 drones, as I lose 5 drones, I'm back to where I started. But if I move on the mineral line towards these lings, and right now I start making lings, I could still solve the problem before those lings spawn. But if I lose 5 drones and I make 10 lings, which is, each ling is worth 2 on the larva, so that's why I said 10 instead of 5. But you get what I mean, though. Like, it's the 5 larvae gets utilized into zerglings and not drones. I'm actually behind by 5 drones automatic, like full on, and now I have 10 lings that what am I gonna do with them? His lings are already dead if I had to pull my drones in the first place. So people basically do this all the time, where they make units that they don't need, and then they find themselves in a position where they go, okay, well, what do I do with this now? I guess I'll attack, and then the attack does nothing. And then, because it's like not fully invested, it's not a premeditated attack. It's like a panic creation that you go, go attack now, and then it puts you into this like deficit the entire game.
That's exactly what I did against my game against him.
Yeah,
panicked.
And it's all it comes down to is understanding what's capable out of like what is the realistic possibilities here. And if we're looking at the situation right now, like this is when I'm deciding what am I gonna make right now. These lings attacking my queen right now, my queens are probably gonna die. But think of it like this is important to know this, okay? If you inject a hatchery right as you make a queen, you can almost cover the entire time of the inject. And the only reason why we care about the queen is because of the inject. That's the only thing we really care about. Like, especially if you're playing all in, creep spread isn't really the biggest deal for you. Like, I would say you should always make a 3rd queen like I did this game, and your 3rd queen can spread some creep like it tried to. I have 1 tumor out there, and then I'm already getting attacked. But it's really about the inject, okay? That's your biggest thing there, because again, it's 50% of your production. So I don't give a shit if the queens die. I don't give a shit if they're alive. As long as an inject is running on that hatchery, that's all that matters. And it's on every hatchery that matters. So if my queens die, I just remake it, and problem solved. And now, if we look at also what's going on here, well, this amount of lings, like, how long are they going to last? That is one equation we need to kind of, like, think about and look at. And a zergling is generally pretty squishy. It's pretty weak. It's a very flimsy unit. It can do a decent amount of damage, but it dies really easily. And he's only got a little bit in my base right now. So drones could very, very realistically kill this. And then also a zergling, if I were to make a zergling myself, which is the only thing, the only military unit I can make right now, that thing takes more time to make, which is 17 seconds. It takes more time to make than I think that these will last in my base. Like 2 queens and drones will kill 7 zerglings in a matter of probably like 8 seconds. Like it will go down, they will die very fast. And you don't have to know exact numbers or anything like that. You just got to kind of know like an estimation of like what it seems like will happen there. And this is where these are things that are important to understand before you actually try to really start genuinely delving deep into micro. Like if I were to ask you, how much damage does a queen do to a zergling? And how much hit points does a zergling have? And what is the generic attack speed of a queen when attacking a zergling? The overall question would be, how long does it take one queen to kill one zergling? If you don't know the answers to stuff like this, you can't properly micro the unit very well because you're just taking a guess. Oh, like it's fine. I'm not saying you have to know that right now, but I'm saying that you should start committing to stuff like this to memory. You should start getting a little bit of an understanding as to what things are capable of, or try to start committing stuff like that to memory. Like do little by little, like you can even spend like one day at a time. Be like, okay, today I'm gonna really think about like what queens are capable of. Tomorrow I'm gonna think about what zerglings are capable of. The next day I'm gonna think about what roaches are capable of. What, you know, you can keep it simple and just work on the first couple units in the game, and that's it. That's totally fine. But
so when you saw this attack come into your base and you saw the two queens, you knew you're probably going to die, but you also knew that that roach was roaring was almost finished. So you weren't really worried about it. Right?
I was not worried at all right now.
Yeah.
That the amount of worry in me was 0, because this is what my thought process was. Okay. I'm getting attacked right now by a little bit of zerglings, and one queen by herself can kill like 3 zerglings, no problem. 2 queens together, especially if they have their back against a wall, so they're not getting fully surrounded, and if they're side by side, so again, it's reducing surface area. They're stacked up with you're minimizing the melee range on the queen. 2 queens can probably kill. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if these 2 queens killed these zerglings straight up. If there was only 7, but there were more than 7, because I already killed a couple of them, or I already killed one of them, and I'm about to kill 2 more on top of that. So the point I'm trying to make is, alone, these 2 queens can put up a formidable fight against these zerglings.
Right.
So when they actually break through my queens, my drones aren't going to have to work very hard to finish it off. And then my whole build is invested into going into roaches. I do not have zergling speed. And I do not have a bane nest. The last thing in the world I want to make right now is a bunch of slowlings that are stock units, no upgrades. They're going to be god-awful. And they're also susceptible to banelings. Like, zerglings are very micro-intensive. They're very, 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 very bad if you stack up on a bane, because they get one shot and die. And suddenly, half of a larva for your opponent can kill 15 larvae for you if you let a really big baneling detonation go off. Because the reason why I say half a larva is because one larva represents 2 zerglings, and 1 zergling can turn into 1 baneling, and 1 baneling can kill like 30 zerglings if it's fully surrounded. So that's a really bad larva. Like, I'm not thinking about it like in the terms of like, what do I need to kill him with right now? I'm thinking about, what is the most larva efficient thing I can make right now? And this attack he's currently doing to me is not intimidating, because the queens alone were going to mostly deal with it, and then the little remainder, like I said, drones will finish it off, no problem. And my roach warren is like a second from finishing, and roaches are what we're actually going for here. We're trying to make nothing but roaches, because 1 roach will absorb 1 baneling, and it won't give a shit. It'll be like, oh, cool, like that's a dead bane. I'm just going to keep walking forward now. Like, a roach is not going to take much damage to it from a baneling. It's going to power through that thing. It might even kill it out of range, and it might not even take any damage because it's a range unit. And then also on top of that, roaches are also pretty tanky against zerglings, and they're going to power through zerglings as well. And now here is the big thing that is really, 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 again, this makes micro relevant. It makes this is something that changes the game massively about efficiency. So our build, if we play a little bit here, we go forward. So notice how my queens have basically dealt with the problem by themselves, and my drones just came at the last second to finish it off. Like, that was handled very well. But we're going into missile weapons, and we're going into roach speed. So roach speed's really nice because it makes the roaches way more mobile, and that's great. It actually adds a lot of micro potential to the roach. But again, we didn't even micro this game at all, like, realistically. But the big one too is the missile weapon upgrade, which is incredibly important, because what this does is a roach, the damage of a roach is 16 damage, okay? And that's like the flat damage of a roach. And the hit points of a zergling is 35. That always stays the same, and there's no upgrade that makes zerglings have more health. So if you get +1 missile weapons, it changes the roach's damage by +2 on the attack. So instead of being 16, it gets 16 +2 now for every hit, and now it's 18. And if what that means is a roach will not take 3 hits anymore to kill a Zergling, and now only takes 2 hits. Exactly.
Yeah.
It dramatically increases the power of a roach versus a Zergling. The only way a Zergling player can counter this is if they get Carapace upgrades, and they like reduce the damage again to get like the threshold back into 3 hits instead of 2 hits. But a player who's playing like this, where they're massing Lings really early and flooding me with Banes, this guy's not going to have Carapace upgrade. Like, realistically, he's not going to be going for like so here's why I know that. So first of all, a Carapace upgrade takes time, right? And this guy's attacking me relatively early. He's going really aggressively all in on me right now. So the likelihood of him having an Evo Chamber upgrade is unlikely right now because it takes a lot more time to get that. It's a long upgrade. But the big one as well is so that's why he probably doesn't have Evo Chamber upgrade. It's just too early. But also a big reason why I'm not feeling intimidated right now on this attack. This is again a concept a lot of people don't think about. It's really similar to what I said earlier about if you lose 5 drones but you make 5 drones, you're back to where you were before. But your opponent made Zerglings and he's like down in drones because, you know, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
He didn't make drones. Now think about this. I'm getting attacked by... I just got attacked by Zerglings, and they all died. Pretty much. Like, I think only, like, 2 lived. But now I'm getting attacked again by another round of Zerglings. And my opponent can't make Zerglings and drones at the same time. So, automatically, I already know, even if I lose drones right now... This is why I was not intimidated. Even if I lose drones right now, it's not being based on the fact that we have this same drone count. Like, what I'm expecting is this guy, if he kills a lot of my drones, he's going to kill me back down to, like, where he already is right now. If, like, my natural dies, that is. And I'm already starting to make roaches, and roaches are going to overpower this really fast. Roaches are a very strong unit versus Zergling Baneling. Especially, like roaches scale exponentially powerfully against Ling Bane. Like, if it's only 3 roaches versus... a lot of Ling Bane, and again, it's all about surface area. If my roaches are getting fully surrounded by Zerglings, they're not going to be very effective. But suddenly, if I have like 20 roaches, and they're all in a big blob, and he's got Zerglings that are only hitting the outside wall of the blob, and the inner roaches aren't really taking any damage, suddenly roaches are really good. Like, and also, all you gotta do, and then this is where, again, a little bit of micro comes in, just to kind of clarify. Banelings are good against a blob, but if you spread out the roaches against the Banes and you stack them up against Zerglings, you counter both of those units really heavily. And if you have roach speed, which is what we're getting, you can very quickly manage those things if you actually wanted to micro as best as you can in this situation like this. So if we look at the drone count right now, I'm at 43, he's at 28. So I have 15 drones that can die just for us to be even. And here's the crazy thing. Even if I lose drones to the point to where I'm a little bit negative, it's still fine because my composition is stronger than his. So if my drone count is a little bit weaker, my composition is going to be more efficient than his. So I can...
He's always going to need like twice the army just to keep up with yours, right?
Yeah, like honestly, I'm not even kidding. He would need... These drone counts would need to be reversed for him to have a chance to be able to overpower me. Because roaches are more efficient than Lingbane. Especially when it's +1 speed roaches against speedling, that's it. And no upgrades. Like no Baneling speed, no melee, no carapace. It's just Ling speed and stock Banes. Like +1 speed roaches are going to obliterate that. So as the fight happens, right? And again, this is I made the Roach Warren based off an efficient method of larva usage. So I didn't do anything with his build. I did not go, oh, I'm going to counter an all-in right now. I just made the Roach Warren based off efficiency, off of larva. So I'm basically being as economically powerful as I can the entire game. That's the key to getting better at StarCraft. It's not about worrying about your opponent. Everybody who worries about their opponent at platinum range never improves. Like they get stuck forever. It's not like you should not give a shit about what your opponent's doing at all, really, in platinum and lower than plat. You should only care about how can you be as efficient as possible with macro, because if you do that, your games will look exactly like this. What just happened right here. I'm getting all in right now, and I haven't done anything to alter my build other than what would, like, my build would have been exactly the same thing as it would have been either way. I want you to know that. Like, I didn't counter this. I didn't, because again, if I countered it, the only option I would have had would have been to like make spine crawlers or make zerglings, and I did not do either one of those things. The only thing I did genuinely to react to his build that I wouldn't normally do is I made queens after, like, as they were dying. I made new queens as my current ones were dying, because my queens are dead right now at my natural, and I'm starting new queens right now. That's the only thing I've done that I wouldn't normally do, is the extra queens. But I didn't do it premeditatedly. I did it as they were dying. So it was like a reaction. And then he gets in my base, right? He's attacking me. And drones die. Now, watch the drone count top left. I'm still ahead by 8 drones. We're tied. I'm down by 1 drone. And now, like I said before, the efficiency of roaches are starting to really come in here. And he kills another drone. Now we're down by 2 drones. Now we're down by 3 drones. And I would say for him to, genuinely, for him to surpass me and actually be able to overwhelm me and outproduce me with what we have going on here, where I have +1 speed roaches, and he has hatchery tech based Ling Bane with no Evo chamber, my drone count would need to be probably like 13 for him to really overwhelm me, or like maybe 14, because +1 speed roaches are ridiculously efficient against Ling Bane. Like, it's insane how efficient they are. Which, again, this is why I recommend you this kind of a build, because it's just fucking really strong. So I'm only down by 5, and that's not enough. I still have plenty of power here, and also not only that, another concept that is very important and very relevant is I have plenty of resources right now to still outproduce him, I would say, with power, but we have a build-up. This is a build-up that has been occurring for the last 30 seconds. So this is a relevant thing that is going to, like, wash. It's like a tsunami that's going to wash over his base in a minute. That's going to be very, because he was losing all of his lings to pick off some extra drones, but he didn't kill my roaches. So this is a buildup that's going to be occurring in a minute here with all the rest of my roaches. The only way
he's already lost the game, right? Because he has to drone up, but if he drones up, he's not going to survive the wave, and if he continues on with his comp, he's gonna be even further behind if he even survives.
Yeah, it's gonna the only way he would survive this, honestly, is if he makes like maybe like 5 spine crawlers, and then he just lets the 3rd die. But then at that point, again, what we can do with ourselves is we can spend our resources to a point where, because my drone count's all messed up now, we can spend our resources to a point to where like my gas is spent, but my minerals start going up, and once that starts happening, we can start fixing my drones again. So then, and then it increases my muscle again, and then eventually we can overpower the spines, if we did that. But like for right now, while he's all in, he's still flooding lings. This is not the time to make drones. Again, we need to attack. Like, we need to now apply counter pressure to this, because this is why we have the game in such a good spot to apply counter pressure here. Like, this is our moment to do this. Again, this is all in mentality.
Okay.
So if you wanted to play macro mentality, it's a little different. But it's viable. Both ways are viable, but this is a very good build for all-in mentality. And yeah, and then if we speed it up a little bit, just look at the efficiency of roaches here, okay? When the fight actually starts happening. So now we start moving towards his base. And the roaches don't give a fuck. They're just like, yep. And we're just cruising. Like, I don't think 1 roach even died there. And then we're killing all the lings as they spawn, and we're just cruising still. Killing all the lings as they spawn. No roaches have still died, really. And we're cruising. And then my roaches, I'm not even microing this. I just moved it right here in the main base, and they're spreading out themselves, and just like they're like getting leashed onto buildings because they're within range of auto attacking, because the roaches kind of push each other around as they move in. And whatever they attack, they attack. I didn't even care. I was like, yep, just go attack the area. I'm not manually splitting this. They're just doing their own thing.
Yeah, +1 is huge, especially with all those roaches.
Yep. It's crazy. It makes the damage hit that breakpoint that just makes Zerglings very non-viable. And then, you know, supply right now, it looks like we were scared, right? Where it's like, oh my god, we're going to die. But none of the roaches even died. Like, again, that's just like why how I was telling you about the efficiency of this unit versus Ling Bane. It's crazy. Especially when it has +1. So, anyways, that ideally is what I think you should go for. And if you want, we can play another game right now, and I could have you run against another person, maybe Skippy Joe if he's still around, and you try to recreate what I just did there for yourself.
Sounds good.
Okay, and this time I'll actually I could talk you through it as well, and just make sure you're on track. And I can give you like numbers so you don't have to memorize everything, because these are actually really, really important. Like if you, because for instance, in the first game, you made a hatch rate at 14 supply, and that is going to fuck you like really bad if you do stuff like that. It'll slow everything down. All right. I invited you and Skippy Joe to the game. Also, thank you, J Hero, for the help, dude. I appreciate you. Thanks for playing, man. I'm gonna do Skippy Joe for a game here, then I think we're good. And anyone else who offered to play, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for offering. Much love. All right, ask you guys if you're both ready, and if he's ready and you're ready, we'll do it up.
So what's the build again for the first?
No, I'll run you through it. Right. I'll kind of like, I'm not gonna just like flood info into your ear the whole time. I'll just be like your build guide, which tells you like, do this, and then it'll be easy to follow. Okay, ready to go?
Yep.
All right. So when the game starts, just make a drone. Don't worry about anything. Just move the overlord across the map and make a drone. That's all you gotta worry about for the start of it. And then I'll be kind of walking you through it. Alright, so make drone. And now save for overlord. Okay, and then try to make a drone again. Here you did. Good job. Now, when you have 2 larvae, just try to make 2 drones, and when the overlord spawns, it'll instantly make both of them. So 2 drones. And now 180 minerals. At that number, take a drone off the mineral line and run to your natural. So right. No, yeah, it's good. Now build a natural as soon as you get there. You'll probably be like at 390 when you get there or something. Or 290, sorry. So do it now. Now build a drone again. Build drones all the way to 18 supply. So drone, drone, drone. You'll build 3 of them. 1 more. Now save for a spawning pool. Okay, spawning pool. Go back to making drones again. Now drone to 20 and then make a gas. So 2 more. Oh wait, too early. Honestly, cancel the gas. I'm not even kidding. It's gonna screw you. All right. Okay. So just fill up the gas as once it's done.
That's Skippy Joe, by the way.
Oh shit! What the fuck? Okay, I'm an idiot. I was like, go to the wrong guy here. Okay, dude, make a gas now. Oh wow. Let's pretend like that didn't happen. All right. Yeah, keep making drones, dude. Okay, now make 2 queens. And then re-rally your hatchery to the natural. And keep making drones. Also, make an overlord now, too, when you can. Your natural or something.
Do I send any drones to the...
Yeah, so put 3 on gas. Make overlord. That's really important right now. Overlord is super important. There you go. Take 2 drones off the mineral line and put them on the natural as well from your main. So you want to hit 6. You want the perfect numbers. Here you go. And then just go back to making drones again. And make 1 more overlord too, because you're gonna block again because you have a lot of larvae kind of chilling right now.
You're engaging the opponent.
I actually make 2 overlords because your overlord might die in his base. It's a little deep. You can just run into the corner and hope it lives, but otherwise just make like 2. All right, now keep making drones, and now make 1 more queen at your natural. Keep making drones. Always making drones here. Never stop making drones. Make a layer in your main. And keep making drones. And now as soon as you spin the larva on this inject, then you make 4 buildings. And I'll tell you what that is in a second. So spend all your larva right now. Spend all larva on drones. Inject your hatcheries one more time. Now make a roach warren, an evo chamber, and 2 gases. And I like how you're doing it at the wall. That's really important. Now 2 gases at your natural. Okay, now go back to making drones. And now if you mouse over top right, okay, your supply, you'll see a drone and a number next to it. You want to make drones until that is 42. So you're you still need to make 4 more, 3 more now, 2 more. One, there you go, and stop now. And now make another couple, make like 3 overlords, because you're gonna make roaches now, and they're gonna be really expensive in supply. And then start making roaches as soon as those are, and it's just roaches and overlords now. So saturate your gases at your natural with your drones. So 3 more on one of them and 1 more on the other. 1 more on the second gas. Now get roach speed on your roach warren and start making roaches and overlords. And keep injecting your bases. So inject your main and inject your natural. Good job. And just start making roaches. And now take a drone off your natural mirror line and go take a 3rd base. Okay, he's attacking you. So now, just fucking make roaches and try to A-move your roaches as they spawn. Like, select the army, A-move. Select the army, A-move. And just keep making roaches. Okay. I have an idea to help you. I'm actually kind of glad this happened. You're definitely going to die right now. There's too much shit in your base. But check this out, okay? I want you to really quickly... I'm going to have you play it one more time. Just because I think this will help you a lot. Really quickly, come to the Discord stream really fast.
Right.
And I want to show you something that's going to help you a lot with what just happened. And then try to apply this in your next game, okay? And then I'll run you through the build one more time. So next time when you build your roach warren and your when you build your roach warren and your evo chamber, I want you to do this. Put another evo chamber like on the wall here, and your 3rd queen that's gonna be chilling, put her in the door and put her on hold position in the door, okay? Kind of like that. So she can walk through it. But put her in the middle on the door.
Alright.
And this map is actually kind of largely awkward for the doorway with the way creep works here, because the creep doesn't actually spread entirely. Well, it kind of does, but actually, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make this a little bit easier. I'm gonna go like this. I want to go right back to when you actually build the buildings. So try to do this in the future as well. This will be something that's walling properly is super important, okay? So your evo chamber is good. Your roach warren's down by 1, which it should be up by 1. So if we cancel it and we build it up by 1, it should be there instead. And the way you can tell is there is I guess creep does make it a little bit harder, but there is terrain here. The hatchery can easily tell because you can actually build off creep. But you can see there's terrain right there that is red. It's unbuildable terrain. And as long as you have 1 grid spot that is overlapping the building you're going to build, then you're fine. So you actually put the roach warren there initially, and this right here is like, it's like a double overlap right there. As you can see, like the top of the roach warren and like the whole wall there has like a double intersecting grid line. But if you build the roach warren up by 1 there instead, there's going to be 1 overlapping grid line that goes like that. Because like the roach warren, it basically is going to the upper side of the creep. And the reason why this is important is because you can now build a evo chamber properly, like this. This is perfect, because again, there's 1 overlap grid spot. Or this would be perfect right here, if you put it like right there, or fuck, it's kind of like, actually no, this is like the only spot that actually works. I'm not even kidding, because the evo chamber is placed in a weird spot. The point I'm trying to make here is, this is how you can tell the wall is perfect, okay? If I build that evo chamber right there, And the Roach Warren is here. Double Evos are here. We have 3 buildings in the wall. The whole point you want to have is you want to have overlap with the wall on one side. You want to have overlap with the wall on the other side, which we do have on both. But you want to have a doorway that is overlap just like this, where the top side of the wall, like the top middle part, is overlapping with the bottom middle part. Or like, you could say the same thing if it was like the right side. You want to have... This is another way to explain this in a really easy way. I feel like I might make this sound confusing, but if you take the side of a building and you run a line through it, it needs to intersect with the other building just like that. If it doesn't do that, if it intersects like, if it's like that, it's not going to be a proper wall. It's going to be a corner wall. Or if it intersects, if it would be like this and it doesn't intersect again, that's not a wall. Like that's not like buildings that are made properly in a way where it would actually be working properly. You want to have the doorway have overlap, and you want every other building to actually have a connection where there's like a red grid here, just like that. So you want part of the building to actually overlap with the other part of the building, just like how you want part of the building to overlap with the wall. I hope that makes sense, because if you don't do it like this, and instead, like here's a perfect example of what I mean. Okay, this is a visual here that'll probably make a lot of sense. If I build the Evo chamber right here, notice how there's overlap where there's a grid overlap. So if I tell my drone to move there, it will run around it. Just like that. And if I want to go back, it'll go around it. Now if I do this, so that's overlap. Now if I do this, again, this is overlap here for this side. If I do this, this is again overlap. So if I put it here instead, if I tell my drone to go here, it'll go around it. Just like that, again. So again, there's always a grid overlap on any side of the corner of the building. There has to be a connection. But if I actually go like that, where there's no overlap anymore, there's no vertical or horizontal overlap, there's only a diagonal overlap, I can actually go through the middle of it. So you don't ever want your wall to look like that, because lings will go through it. So that's humongous, and that's what your wall was doing before. That's what it would have done, and that's why lings can flood you so easily. But now, with the way we built the wall, where there's overlap from one spot, and the doorway has overlap with a one gap in the middle. Again, it's not like built here where there's a corner. It's built here to the it's built to the point to where if I put my Evo chamber right between them, there is a vertical overlap top to bottom right where the queen is going to sit in that very middle doorway. So if the top side was to the right by 1, or if the bottom side was to the left by 1, there would be no overlap in that the middle vertical 3 grid spot. So if my queen sits right there in the middle of it, lings can no longer flood through this. Like like nothing will go through it. The queen will literally block it. And if I move my drones through the queen like that with a mineral walk and I go this way, nothing can go through it. But if I go back like one more time just really quickly to show you the original what I mean from what your wall was. Like right here. Okay, this is where we were with your initial wall. This is where like your... Oh my god, I can't fucking start the game now because there's no opponent here. One sec, I gotta go back even further now. Okay, I can do it here. I should be able to do it here. Yeah. So your original building placements were like this. This is the last time we'll show you, then I'll kind of move on from this whole topic. Because I just want this to make sense for you. So your Roach Warren was actually planted there initially, right? Because again, it was one down where it should have been on the creep, which makes your wall get fucked. And your Evo chamber was perfect though. It was right there. You just wanted to be on the outside of the creep as much as possible. And then if you wanted to make this a wall that actually goes like we just made a second ago, the only way you can do it is, again, if you overlap the wall like this, or if you overlap the wall like this. There's no overlap to the other side though, because it's too far away now. If the Roach Warren, because the reason why is if the Roach Warren is higher by 1, I can now move the Evo chamber to the left by 1, or sorry, to the right by 1. Because you know what I mean? Because if I put the Evo chamber there now, I can run through the gap there.
Yeah.
So just like this again, if I put the Evo chamber where it's supposed to be, now there, which is an overlap of this building by 1, the vertical line is overlapping, just like that, in the very middle. But now if I put my queen in the middle here, on the door, in the very middle of that gap here, again, it's a corner to corner, she's gonna have a lot more surface area that is like on her ass essentially. Like she's way more exposed because she's not tucked into a hallway that's like that, where she's like, again, it's like the far left grid on the green, right? She's not tucked into a hallway where she can hold her own like in the middle there. She's fucking exposed deeper. So she's, instead of getting hit by like 1 or 2 lings, she's gonna get hit by like 4 lings in total, which means she's gonna die way faster. And lings might even squeeze through if you don't do it perfectly and you put her on like the side a little bit. Lings will literally fucking like go through it. This is a very, very fat queen. Well, I hope you understand what I mean. It's really important to do that properly. That's not something you're gonna do right away. Right away. It takes practice, but it's very important to do that properly. But I highly recommend, the point I'm trying to make here is you do that. So from now on, for this, the final game we'll do here, do double Evo instead of 1 Evo. So go Roach Warren plus double Evo. So you make 5 buildings instead of 4. Because you'll make double Evo, Roach Warren, and double gas.
Alright, well, I need to restart my PC real quick. Everything went haywire for some reason.
Okay, yeah, no worries.
I'll be right back.
Sure. Alright, Skippy Joe, I'm gonna invite you one more time. I'm trying to think. Do I want him to do that again? Can you do that wall on every map without a creep tumor? No. Sometimes you actually need to have 4 buildings instead of 3. It depends what map it is. Some maps are easy to wall on. Some maps are a bit fucked up. But walling properly is a important thing to do. And Zerg have it the hardest because they're restricted by creep, whereas Terran and Protoss are not. So it can be a little bit more problematic for Zerg. What's a good ratio of medevacs to Marines? 1 to 10? No, probably like 1 to 8. Literally like what the medevac holds. Or maybe even like 1 to 6. Maybe even a little bit more medevac. Are you back in the call, Neo Story? Or no, he's not. I thought he was. He like just disconnected or something. Like his computer just recognized that, or the program just recognized that he's not here anymore. 1 to 1, definitely too many. I'd say like 1 to 5 Marines or 1 to 6 Marines. Probably 1 to 6 Marines is good. I honestly feel like that's pretty good. You want to have enough medevacs to make sure you can quickly top your Marines off, especially if you're going for a bio-heavy style. So, like, actually, this is a better way to say it. If you're making medevacs as part of your comp with Terran, stop making medevacs when you have like 10 or like 12. Like, that's max. Don't go above that. Like, as soon as you get double-digit medevacs, stop. 10, 11, 12, stop. And then try to maintain that. So if you lose medevacs, you can go back up to that. But definitely don't make like 21 medevacs or something. That's fucking overkill. And that's if you're going bio-heavy. If obviously if you're transitioning your army away from bio-heavy, you can drop your medevac count down to maybe like 6. Didn't Special tell you 6 to 8 max? Just want you to know something. I don't think Pro Gamer... Star Gamer more? Stop. There's multiple levels of StarCraft. And Special is telling me what he does in his games as a Pro Gamer. But you see, if you make a little bit more and you're going bio-heavy, it allows you to actually just go bio, and you don't have to support your bio with like tanks and shit. Like, it depends what level of skill you are, but for general purposes, a little bit more medevacs, give you more options as to what you can do with your bio. Like, you can push with bio and drop, and not have to worry about having an underutilized amount of medevacs. And it's also forgiving if you're like, whoops, I walked into a fungal growth. Medevacs, a little bit more medevacs will help correct errors that you make. You have to also take into context who's giving advice to who. And when Special is giving me Terran advice, I don't think he's assuming that I'm going to play sloppy. But when I give people advice, a lot of times I try to generalize it to give people advice because I assume people are going to play sloppy. Because I'm giving advice to everybody as a whole, not a pro gamer. Alright, he's back on. Can you hear me right now, Neil Story?
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
My game's going crazy right now. It keeps flashing.
If you want, I can give you the example myself if and show it to you, I guess. I don't know if you would prefer that. Like, because I'll do it one more time with the wall I'm showing you, like live, and then I guess.
Yeah, I'm down. Yeah, that works.
Okay. So can you see my Discord stream then still?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. That sucks. All right, Skippy Joe. Let me know if you're ready, and I'll do an example with you, and I'll walk you through one more time again, like what I'm doing. And then if you have any questions, again, at any point in time, even if I'm talking, feel free to ask if anything doesn't make sense. And then after this, we'll wrap up, I guess. Ask me a little bit more, anything you want, and then we're good.
No, I think I have a lot to work. I have plenty to work with.
No, for sure, yeah. Like, I think your first game was just a bit chaotic, for sure. And if you just kind of clean up what, like, your efficiency of macro, make that your focus, definitely will help you a lot. So in the future, here's tip 2. The Overlord, go like this. Move your Overlord like right here. Hold shift and like move it back a little bit while you're waiting to make your Overlord. So I moved it. Basically, I moved it to his natural, like about right there. I'm way close enough to see the natural, and then I shift click it back a little bit so it doesn't die. Instead of like diving into the main and then just forgetting about it. So that way you don't lose your Overlord next time, because that also slowed you down and it screwed you a little bit, because supply blocks you and shit, and it just makes everything go slower. Okay, so 180 minerals, I pull off the mineral line and I go down to my natural. I'm at 16 supply. Show up with 300, build my hatchery, immediately go back to making drones. Up to 18. And then I make my spawning pool. And then if you actually have time to work on it as well, I highly recommend as well that you work on mineral stacking. And I've talked about it a lot. If you want me to give you a quick explanation of what that is, I can, but I've talked a lot about that with B2GM stuff. It does make a difference, though.
Yeah, like 2 drones per patch.
Yeah, you prioritize close patches first and then far patches second. But yeah, two drones per patch. It makes your mining just more efficient, and it increases how fast you do shit. And it's like you're doing nothing right now anyways, so it's super important to do it. That's also why I tell you to take 2 gases at your natural, so you don't disrupt the mineral line in your main. Okay, so we saturate our gas, re-rally to the natural, take a drone down. So as soon as I'm at 16 out of 16, I just rally down. And then now we have a perfect mineral line, and we're working on the natural now. And I make an overlord so we don't supply block. We actually made 2, which is fine. I just move them as well. I can move them in eggs like around my base so I get more vision. It's also a good thing to do when you're not doing anything right now. You can tell the egg of just an overlord to go, hey, go there. I want vision in this area. That's a great thing to do. Spread out your vision a little bit, especially if you're against a Zerg player. Okay, and then as soon as my queens are done, I start another queen here, and I start a layer here. Inject, inject. Making drones as fast as I can. I'm gonna make another overlord because I'm getting kind of close to blocking again. And also my inject is gonna pop off, which is gonna really increase how fast my supply is coming out. Move an overlord like right there that time. In the middle of the map. Now the second my my inject pops off and I spin the larva, I'm gonna make 5 buildings. So inject, inject. Grab a drone, go build my roach one, build an evo chamber, build another evo chamber right there. That's a proper wall. Build double gas, keep making drones, and we made a creep tower. And now my queen is in this doorway. That's like the lot. You can see the triple vertical thing. So it takes a little bit of practice to figure out how to do that for yourself, but 100% try to make sure that always happens for your wall. And we're joining up to 42. I actually joined to 44. It's fine. We went a little bit over. And now we're just making roaches all game. Nothing but roaches. Saturate my gases. Saturate my gas. Make a couple overlords because we're going to block. We can start a 3rd base as well in a second here. I can mineral walk my drone through the queen so he runs through it. And I'm just making roaches and overlords right now. And then as soon as... Roaches and overlords is priority right now. And as soon as I have... some money left over, I'll make a 3rd hatchery. So again, roaches are a priority right now. But the drone's just chilling right now, waiting to make it. And we're getting all in. Same exact build we just fought against a second ago. And this is where efficiency comes in, right? Now, will I die or will I hold? And see how that queen's holding the line? Just buying me time right now. That bought me like an extra 3 seconds to get my roaches to gather. And now I can just go, alright, drones, A move, shift, right click mineral line. Select all army, A move the ground. Rally my hatcheries here. Keep making roaches. 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 And A move. Select army. A move. Make sure I get crab roaches as they spawn to do this. Keep making roaches. Keep making roaches. Keep making roaches. All roaches attack. Keep making roaches. Keep making roaches. It looks like I'm not gonna be able to take a 3rd, so let's just grab this drone and bring it back. Keep making roaches.
Swarm has evolved. Enemy assaulting drones.
Okay, we can eject our base. Keep making roaches. Keep making roaches.
Swarm forces under attack. Sequences.
Okay, so we lost a lot of shit.
Swarm mutated.
What's my drone count look like right now? We have 16 drones. We might actually die right now. But yeah, I mean, we're just gonna all in with it at this point. We have not really a lot of choices here. Roach speed is done. So let's go for it. Let's go A move towards his base. Keep making roaches. And then as soon as our money, like I said before, as soon as our money goes up a bit, and like above the gas, we can, we should actually probably take these guys off gas at this point because we have like no drones. We can start making drones again once we spend all of our gas. And we're not going to micro anything. Okay, we can start making drones.
Oh, yeah.
Because we can barely afford to make units at this point.
Glad to be back after a long break.
Okay, so we'll make drones. And our attack is doing its thing right now.
Swarm forces under attack.
Okay, select all army. A move towards his natural. Shift A move towards the main. Off the mini-map. I'm not actually microing.
Forces under attack.
We're making some drones to try to fix our economy again. Try to go back to a 16 on this mineral line. And we're just making drones. We don't even have queens right now. We can't even inject anything. How's this going? Okay, we're losing the fight. It's all good. It's still doing some damage, even though we are losing that fight right now. We have queens started up again. Try to get up drones up to like just a little bit more so we can afford shit. And then we'll go back. Like basically, here in just a sec, we'll start making roaches again. But we can barely afford anything because we actually lost a lot of drones that time. Okay, so let's saturate that gas again now. So we'll start resaturating gases here.
So, like,
What's
off
up?
of one gas, how much roaches can you make? Do you need like 3?
Successful.
Off of one gas, you could probably
Newly
make 1 base injected worth of roaches. And 3 gas, the reason why we do 3 is because it also allows us to get upgrades.
Okay.
So like the 2 gases are for the roaches and the 3rd gas is for upgrades. Okay, we can try to take our 3rd base again now. We have our economy's kind of somewhat looking decent again. And we take our 3rd. We'll try to go back to where we were initially. So we're going to go back up to 42 drones. We're right there. And then we're making just pure roaches. So 1 more drone and we're done. And it's all going to go to the natural mineral line. We got a 3rd queen started as well. Okay, now we just make roaches again. And this time we can get level 2 weapons and carapace because we're now evolving to like the next stage of the game here. Otherwise the gas is going to do nothing anyways. Again, we get the 3rd gas for upgrades. Okay.
Cluster expended.
Keep making roaches. And we'll make an overlord as well periodically so we don't block. Because roaches are pretty supply heavy. Okay, we can transfer drones that are oversaturated down to the 3rd that we just made. We can also bring that extra queen that we just made too. And then again, you're playing an all-in style. So what we're doing now, again, this is not a macro style. We're droning up to the point of being able to do the all-in effectively, which is 42 drones. And now what we're doing is we're just making mass roaches. It's super basic, super simple. I'm not gonna go into super big, crazy, fundamental details of like how we need to evolve and everything we're doing. It's just as soon as 2-1 is done now for the 2nd phase, once these upgrades are done, we fucking hit the attack button and go to his base just like we did before. And we're just making roaches. And the only drones we have here are oversaturated drones from the natural and the main. We're not making more. We just made up to 42 again because that's what our initial all-in is based off of. So keeps it super simple. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so it looks like he's about to attack us. I see him moving out on the map right now with our overlords, which is all good. So if he attacks us first, obviously we just defend then. And let's go attack that. And we're just making roaches. Okay, he's got mass mutas. So now we have to obviously go attack. So a good way we can deal with mutas now at this point is attack his base, attack, shift attack, all of his expansions and stuff. And now we can just honestly spore up. Make like 4 or 3 spores or something at bases. And then make spore. Okay, so that base is looking like it's gonna die. Make another spore here, that's fine. And now let's start making drones again. As my drones are, dying. I'm fucking out of drones again. Like, obviously, if you really wanted to, you could move your drones and save them. But I'm trying to make this super, like, realistic to where it's like, we're not microing like gods here. Like, it's approachable. But we're just making drones right now. And this is the power of spores. Like, I just eliminated all the mutas.
So you need 4, because I make 3 and it doesn't look like that.
So the reason why, I just took a judgment call, okay? And I'll explain how I did that. So, remember how I talked about the Lings and Queen?
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly like that, okay? So it's just an assumption of what you need. So if I go, okay, I'm gonna go back to when he showed up with mutas. Like, that was the exact moment that's important. So I had no idea he had mutas, right? It's like, okay,
Right.
I'm doing my thing. I'm getting attacked by roaches. I clearly have way more roaches here. That makes us feel good. You're like, oh shit, yeah, I'm gonna win this fight. And then suddenly, oh shit, like a mutas find my base. Now I eyeballed that, and I was like, that's probably like 12 mutas. Okay, I was like, probably like 12 mutas. And if we click it, it's 13, or it's actually 14 mutas, so it's fine. Like, as long as you're in the ballpark of as long as you don't look at that and go, that's like 40 mutas. Or you're like, oh, that's like 3. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you're somewhat accurate, that's all that matters. And all I thought to myself was, how much how many spore realistically would I need here to be safe? And 1 spore crawler is definitely not going to beat that. 2 spore crawlers would definitely fuck that up a bit, but would not beat that. 3 spore crawlers could probably like double KO each other essentially. Like I could probably kill all these mutas with 3 spores if they're placed really well together and they all shoot the whole time. But if I ever spread out my 3 spores and he gets to fight like a couple of them by themselves when they're out of range of other spores, because I'm also trying to protect my hatchery, I was like, chances are kind of low that I might actually kill all of them. He might actually like kill my hatchery. And the goal, like, you got to think about what your goal is, right? What's the goal here? I have no hydras. I have no queens. I have the 1 queen injecting, that's it. All I'm really going to defend these mutas with is the spore. So essentially my thought process here was, if I'm only going to be fighting the muta with spore and that's it, I want to make sure that my hatchery doesn't die. So if I think to myself, okay, if I put a box of spore, so what, like each corner of my hatchery is covered with a spore, no matter where he goes, he has to fight 2, maybe 3, if not all 4 spores at once if he just dives it. If he fights all 4, I'm definitely going to win the fight. If he fights 3, I'm going to definitely kill the mutas and the spores are going to die, but that's still a win-in condition for us because I don't care about the spores if the mutas are dead. The mutas are the only problem here. But then if he fights the side of my hatchery and he fights like 2 spores, is a very high chance this amount of mutas would kill 2 spores. But in the process of that, I'm going to kill probably like a lot of the mutas as well. I'll probably kill like 10 of the mutas if he kills 2 spores. So then again, all I care about is my hatchery not dying. So if that were to happen at the point where 2 spores die to trade off like, let's say like 10 of these mutas, I could just relocate my spores to cover my hatchery in a more widespread area. So they're not so stacked in like corners anymore. I could put them on sides instead or something. And then it's like 1 spore versus 3 or 4 mutas, which is going to be fine. Like on each side, if that makes sense. Or I could even take the other base and be like, hey, let's take one of my 4 spores, the 4th one, and make it become 3-3 instead of 2-4. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like it's really about defending the hatchery. It's all I cared about. So I wanted to make sure that there was no angle he could take to hit my hatchery while my spore, like if I had a spore here, a spore here, a spore here, and a spore here, which is still 4 spores, and he kills my hatchery from here, and all my spores are out of range, that's a problem. So I make sure that he has no way to attack my hatchery, and if he ever tries, he's always going to fight guaranteed at least 2 spores, maybe 3, or maybe 4, if he gets really sloppy with how he engages.
So you want him spread out, but not too spread out where he can just take them out one by one.
Exactly, because that's exactly. That's why I'm saying like the whole like Zergling the Queen example we gave earlier is really relevant, because if you can look at this and go, that will own 1 spore crawler. Don't ever have isolated spores then. The only way it would ever make sense to have isolated spores against a mutaflock that is big enough to kill 1 spore would be if you had units to also support it. Like if I had hydras or if I had a lot of queens, that'd be fine then. Yeah. But I have none of that. I have just roaches and 1 queen injecting. That's not enough to support a spore crawler.
Can we see that play out again? Because that was pretty miraculous.
So I see the mutas. Right now, 100%, you could evacuate drones. You could even waste time on mutas to like go, drones go here, drones go there, drones go here, drones go here, drones, like spread them out to make mutas go all over your base to kill them all, which buys you time to make spores. You could do shit like that and waste time for the mutas, but again, that's higher level shit. Don't even need to worry about that. Just fucking go, oh, spores, or oh, mutas. And again, think about this. A spore crawler is never going to build faster than these mutas are going to kill it if you build it right under them. You're just going to waste your money. So I'm not even trying to build spores here. It's not going to work. So I just go, okay, it's like a tourniquet. I just cut this base off and I do it here and here instead. Because these bases could continue, for sure. So back to my vision. The roaches are doing their thing. All right, I'll just watch the mutas. So mutas are in the base. They're killing my drones. It's totally fine. It's wasting their time, which is buying me time to have spores start, which I haven't even started yet.
If you would have pulled them off, most likely, then it would just follow your drones, right?
Yeah, if I were to go drones, immediately evacuate to this middle line, they will most likely follow the drones to the middle line, 100%. That's why I was saying if you wanted to be really like advanced with it and you wanted to just go drones go there, drones go there, drones go there, drones go there, what's he gonna do? He's probably gonna follow the drones. And it buys you time to build spores. Now we built these spores really late, to be honest. Like we were doing the roach shit a little bit too long, but it's fine. I mean, it still worked out, right? So now again, we could run these drones too if we wanted to, but we didn't. So the drones all died. And so far this game, I've literally lost 57 drones already. From his first attack and now his second attack. And now the spores start finishing, they start obliterating mutas. And at the same time, we already have the spores made here too. And here's the thing, right? Muta count. He just lost a few mutas to those spores right there. And those spores are also done now, which is nice. And then now I made 5 here because I was like, the reason why I made 5, again, it was a judgment call. I was thinking I need 4 because I want 4 for the reasons I just explained. The 4 corners of the hatchery, so it covers the hatchery really well. But then I made 5 because I made them late, and I was like, shit, all my drones are dying, and he's already there. What if he just kills the drones and immediately comes down here? I want to have a 5th spore, just in case he like tries to start killing my spores here. But then he doesn't. He goes to the right, and he also loses mutas while doing that. So I cancel a 5th spore to get a little bit of my money back, because I don't actually need it. Like, it's overkill at this point. I like it. It's again a judgment call to go, I really don't need this. This 4 spores that are all actually finished now are plenty, because his muta count's even lower than... I could even probably cancel 2 spores right now. I'm not even kidding. And I'd still be fine because he has less mutas than he did before. But we cancel 1, and we get our money back a little bit, and we use that to start making drones again faster to replace. And now the mutas try to engage the space, and again, they want to kill drones and shit. But now, this time, spores are done. They're not being constructed as he arrives. And he flies into all 4 of them. And as you can see, a muta has 120 health, and a spore does 30 damage every 0.6 seconds to it. So, a muta essentially is going to live for 5 hits, not 4, even though 30 times 4 is 120. You have to also account for the fact that a muta has regeneration. So it actually will live with like 3 health or like 2 health left after it gets hit for 120 damage. So it has to get hit 5 times. And if you think about, okay, what is 0.6 times 5? It's like 3 seconds. It's like, I think 0.61 times 5 is 3.05 seconds. So 1 spore crawler is going to kill 1 muta every 3 seconds, essentially. It's fucking fast. And if you have 4 fucking spores, you're going to be knocking out 4 mutas every 3 seconds. And he's only got like 10. And then the final thing to think about too is a muta does 9 damage, right? So these are numbers that should, it's not, you don't have to memorize everything exactly, but you should definitely have an idea of what is realistic here. And if you were to think to yourself, okay, if I have 10 mutas, how long would it take 10 mutas to kill 1 spore crawler? A spore crawler has 1 armor. That's important to know. It has 400 health. So now a muta has 9 damage, but it really has 8 because of the 1 armor. And now we need to figure out how long is it going to take 8 damage to surpass 400 health with the attack speed of 1.09. So, and then now we got to multiply all the mutas we have together. So if we have 10 mutas, that's 80 damage a shot, because you have 8 damage per muta, it's 8 muta, and it's 10 mutas. So if we're doing 80 damage a shot at we'll just average it off and say 1 second attack speed instead of 1.09. We'll just make it easy and say 1 second. How long is it going to take 80 to surpass? How many times do you have to multiply 80 to go beyond 400? And it's, what is that? It's 6 times, right? Because 8 times 6 is 40? Or 42? Or what am I stupid? It's 40. So yeah, 400 damage is going to be exact for, or 8 times 5, wait. 8 times 5 is 400, 8 times 6 is 48. Okay, I'm sorry. I was good at math a second ago, now I'm bad at it. But so it's 6 shots, because again, a spore also has regeneration. Everything Zerg regenerates. So 6 seconds is essentially how long it's going to take for 10 mutas to kill a spore crawler. And that's not even including the fact that 3 seconds later, after the mutas start fighting a spore crawler, 4 of the mutas are going to be dead. Because a spore crawler kills a muta in 3 seconds. So then you have to do a different math problem where it's now, how long is it going to take the mutas that only now have 6 mutas left to kill a spore crawler, blah, blah, blah. The whole point you have to know is spores are going to win easily So we don't need to freak out here. It's just like, again, you don't have to understand the exact numbers. You just need to have a vague understanding of the numbers to know that 4 spore crawlers are gonna fucking obliterate 10 mutas. And yeah, that's why it looks like that's why we chose the spore crawler as the result here. This was the highest efficient, easiest accessible choice we could have had here. And then ultimately, again, we could just go back from the start. I'll just play it out. You just come in, they kill all your drones. And then you just go in again, kill all your drones. Unfortunately, we made these spores really late. We could have made it a lot faster, but the result was drones all die. Painful for Zerg, for the drone guy. And then mutas go out, they run away from spores, and they come back in to the other base. And mutas get fucking obliterated because he's fighting finished spore crawlers. But again, the reason why he's fighting these is also not because he's microing those, it's because he's getting obliterated by roaches. And then if we go back to the part of the game where our roaches were going across the map, right? This is what we mustered up. This is why we won the game. We went back to our saturation of drones, which was 42 to all in with, and then our all in moves out, and this is what our roaches looked like as they went across the map. Again, not microed at all. They're just a move. So some of them got out of aggro range of his roaches, and other ones stayed there to finish off the rest. To get to his base, and we're fighting a base that has like no defense. And he doesn't have as many roaches as we do because he just made a bunch of mutas. So just clean up everything. Yeah.
Melts everything.
Yeah. And this is what it's like to play like an all-in playstyle. Again, we're not playing for like 85 drones, stuff like that. We just make that 42 drone count and just maintain it as much as we can while we just get upgrades and make roaches and go kill shit. So it keeps the game super simple. And then later on, when you get better at the game, when you get like more really comfortable with this, you can totally start incorporating things like stutter step micro. You can do things like take your roaches and go, all of my roaches are in control 1, and you grab like 10 of them or something and go alt 2. So you delete them from 1 and put them on 2, and you could be like 1 attack here, 2 run around into the middle line and pick off drones. Like you can start getting really advanced, like multi-prong with it if you really want to as well. You can get burrow move with it and do burrow move attacks with it. There's a lot of advanced shit you can do once you get really comfortable with the macro, but I would highly recommend you focus on the macro part first. Do not fuck that up as much as possible. And then once you get that really down and it feels really solid, then get fancy with it. Because I'm not even kidding. I could play this style myself in ZvZ and be GM with it. There's a lot of like ramp up micro potential with it. Like you could drop lord with it, burrow move with it, multi-prong with it. There's a lot of shit you can do.
Yeah. Alright. Sweet.
So you have any questions about any shit that we talked about?
No. Just think now it's just I gotta go review everything, just let it really digest.
No, for sure. That's how it always goes.
Yeah.
So I would say, just in general, one thing I think you should do is save like a replay. That one of the ones we just did doesn't really matter. Just get it like you could save this one. This one would be totally fine. Or actually, I don't think you can because you weren't in the game. I could send it to you. I'll just send it to you. But definitely use it as like your guide for like the very beginning of the game, right before he all-in'd us. Are you on point with that build? Like at up to like 4 minutes essentially, or like 4.5 minutes. Are you on point with everything I'm doing here? Because if you're not, fix that. This is your biggest hurdle to overcome right now is the first 4 minutes of the game.
I run customs against AI and just redo the 4 minutes over and over again.
Yeah, that's fine. And each time you do it, practice the wall. Like, I'm not gonna lie, you're gonna fuck up 100 walls. Everybody does, but really try to like understand it. And if you need a refresher on what it's like, just watch the part of the video again that we talked about it, about the overlap and like the doorway, how it has an overlap with a gap in the middle with the queen standing in it. But like it's all about vertical overlaps and horizontal overlaps for walls to be proper. And if you figure those out, making walls becomes easy. But understanding it at the first place can be really intimidating and confusing for a lot of people, which is understandable. Because like everybody fucks it up. Like I can't tell you how many times everybody fucks this up. So if you fuck it up a lot, don't feel bad. Everybody does. But definitely practice it though. Anyways, I guess I'll save the replay and I'll send it to you. And thanks for the people helping us at the coaching lesson to fill in. And yeah, dude, Neo Satori. I'll make this a VOD. I'll put it on YouTube and I'll send it to you. I'll send the YouTube video by probably tomorrow, or if not, maybe the day after.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, man. This helps a lot.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for always hanging out. I appreciate you. And I'll see you on stream, man.
All right.
All right, take it easy, dude.
All right. Peace.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Much love. Go check out more stuff if you guys really enjoyed it. I got coaching stuff, replay analysis stuff.
Yeah.
Bronze jam stuff. I got lots of stuff for tools for you to get better at the game, basically, if that's what you want to do. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, good luck in your games. Take it easy, and see you next time. Later, guys.